So here are a few projects that I've been working on, and I also wanted to give you a video update about some of the videos that I plan on releasing here pretty shortly. And we'll get into that right away. So the first thing that I'm going to take you through step by step is making a quiver using a yucca stalk. And traditionally this is, and it's all documented, this is what a lot of the Kauaias would use is these yucca stalk type quivers. And this is Yucca whipplei to be exact. And over here in this pile of mess you can see I have a real long stalk, and that's what we'll be making our quiver out of, amongst all the arrow materials and Atlatl darts and primitive fire stuff. So a few of the projects that I've been kind of working on at my house as well as in the field is a few Atlatls. So this one right here is a red oak basket maker style Atlatl. You can see we have a nice bend to it. This one's fairly thick, so I don't think I'll need a weight on it, but you can see how that turned out. A nice looking spur there. I'm going to go ahead and add some finger loops on the bottom here, and this thing will be good to go. Of course I might polish it up as well. Then we have a honey locust Atlatl. This is one that Ken Villers and I made. That wood is absolutely beautiful. So again, we have a basket maker style Atlatl. This one has a real slight bend to it again. It doesn't have the bend like that red oak one does. And I'll put some finger loops on here, and I will have to weigh this because this is a lighter Atlatl, and I want to weigh it according to the darts that I make. And then the darts, some of the ones that I make are, I'll use two materials. I'll use sandbar willow, and I'll use this mule fat. And same thing with my arrows. I like to use mule fat for the arrows. You guys already know that. This Atlatl with the foreshaft stands about 5.5 feet tall. Of course the foreshaft is removed. I have a couple practice foreshafts that are copper tipped, and I have a foreshaft that has an obsidian point on it. Of course for hunting, if I ever use it. For hunting, that is. I'll practice with it, but again, one of these days I'll take this out hunting. So you can see we have turkey feathers up top. We have a red acrylic paint, artificial sinew holding the turkey feathers down, and I have some hide glue on there as well. And then I have backstrap sinew on both of the tip ends for reinforcement. That Atlatl has a real nice bend to it in the air, so that's a good thing. And then we have a couple bows, and this is really what I've been spending a hell of a lot of time on. And the first one is this hickory bow. This is a flat bow. This one I believe is, I think, 63 inches. Actually, I think both of them are 63 inches. I'll have to measure again. But this one is hickory, and I am going to put a sinew backing on this and pull this into reflex, just like this yew-wood bow that I have. So that's going to hopefully survive and turn out real nice. Now the thing is with hickory is because this is such a hard, dense wood, you have to really rough up the back. So this is the back of the bow, and this is of course where I'll lay the sinew on top of it. But it doesn't like to bind to this wood because again it's such a dense, hard wood. And what I like to do is I'll take a hacksaw blade, or I'll take a Shinto rasp, and I'll just rough up that back and kind of sand it a little bit, and then I'll start laying the sinew on the back of the bow. This bow right here I've been really spending a lot of time on, and this is actually my first sinew backed bow, and Ken Villers and I have been making this. Again, this is yew wood. You can see we have it pulled into reflex, and we have this strung backwards. And the nice thing about sinew backing a bow is it adds a lot of reinforcement to the back of the bow, because that's where we get a lot of splintering and cracks. That's the most common break, is through the back of the bow. But sinew stretches 8 times more than a wood grain, so we can actually pull this into reflex as it is right now and string it backwards. So when we unstring it and we tiller this, I'm going to have a lot more power and a lot more energy and more reinforcement on that back. So this is going to be a real powerful and quick bow. I'm hoping, if it survives the tillering process. So I'll get you a close-up of the Sinew. You can see the Sinew's turning out real nice. This is just about dry. It's been drying for a couple months, and it's really looking good. This is 5 coats of Sinew, with exception to the tips. The tips have 2 coats. So once I unstring this, I will add the remainder of the coats, and I'll let that dry, and we'll start tillering the bow. So again, I'm hoping this thing survives. You know, it sure would be nice, but you can see what we're looking at again. This thing's really looking nice. Now, the one thing to be mindful of with yew wood, and Jim Ham writes about it in his book. I think it's Bow and Arrows of the Native Americans. I have the book in my shelf, so I might put a link in the description if I got that wrong. But yew wood will crack, so you can see the massive crack that occurred in this wood, and that's because yew wood is such a soft wood, and this is a vertical crack, so this shouldn't be a problem. And Jim even says vertical cracks in a sinew-backed yew wood bow are very common, and it really won't affect the bow. So hopefully it doesn't. Again, this is my first sinew-backed bow, so we'll see. I did patch it up just so it doesn't crack further. I put some Titebond 3 glue in it, and I smeared some sawdust in here. So that's what we're looking at. I know it's kind of ugly, but as I tiller this thing down, it won't be like that anymore. And actually, I might even lose the crack altogether, because you can see on both of these limbs how much mass we still have. I still have about 1/8 of an inch to remove before this thing is finally tillered and it's ready to shoot. So I'm hoping that crack disappears. You know, we'll see. And I just got to take it day by day, and you know, wish for the best on this bow. It sure has taken a lot of time, and same thing with that hickory. That hickory will take a good amount of time as well. So there we are, folks. Just a quick update about some of the projects that I've been working on, and one of the videos that I'm going to produce here shortly. Another video that I am going to compose after I make that quiver is acorn processing. I might even do mesquite processing. So this whole bag, I have a whole bunch of acorns and honey mesquite pods that I might take you guys through. And if you guys want to see a step-by-step video on sinew backing this hickory bow and pulling it into reflex and ultimately tillering it down to shoot it, you know, comment on this video. Let me know. I'd be glad to show you guys how to do that. And again, you know, I consider myself a student, and I think even the best of the best out there are students as well. We're always learning and we're always growing. So yeah, just let me know, and I'll start working on that depending on the feedback on this video, and we'll see what we can do there. So alright, folks, this is Jeff with martinsurvival.com. I appreciate you joining me for this video. We'll see you in the next one.